And now, dispatches from the General.
Ziggy zaggy, oi, oi, oi. Wahoo. Yes, we live to see another day. Welcome to Thick Skin with Jeff Ross. Life is hard, but we're getting through it together. Shout out to my guests on today's show. First, we'll have country music superstar Brad Paisley, who invited me to roast him while he performs his new hit single. This should be good. And then I'll talk to a man that people are literally dying to meet. The owner of Purell. Yeah. Ed, I don't know how you found this guy.
He was actually easier to find than Purell.
All right. Shout out to my cousins Rona and Steve for the knock honky table and homemade granola. Shout out to you, Ed, and Julie for the homemade masks. Thank you.
Julie's killing it with those.
Sewing. People are sewing.
Taught herself how to sew during the quarantine.
Amazing. People, you got a regular Betsy Ross over there. Yeah. All right. Maybe she could sew you a nicer shirt.
It'll take forever.
People hate wearing masks. I love it. It hides the fact that I have no chin. But I'm more attractive if you only see half my face. Plus, I can be incognito. Everyone on the street looks like a crook, but there's nothing open to rob. Shout out to everyone buying their thick skin merch on roastmastergeneral.com. Pick up an emotional support human shirt for that special support human that you're quarantining with at this moment. Big salute to everyone who's been tuning in and participating in my weekend Insta roasts.
These are amazing, buddy.
Thank you. So much fun. All the fans, celebrities, roasters who helped me Insta roast volunteers from all over our planet. We had Iran, Sudan, Pakistan, and New Jersey every weekend on my Instagram. That was pretty fun. This is Thick Skin. We're podcasting from my bunker under my house in an undisclosed location. I'm doing well. I got it better than most, but I'm not going to lie. I'm a little stir crazy this week. Me and my pal David Tell, we're supposed to be shooting season 2 of our Netflix series, Bumping Mics, right now. And I'm really starting to miss being on stage. But luckily, I have all of you to connect with, my eshes, my emotional support humans. Let's navigate these crazy times together. While most of us are still in lockdown, they're opening up the massage parlors in Georgia. A happy ending now is not dying in 2.5 weeks. And the mayor of Las Vegas wants to reopen the Las Vegas Strip. Let's hope that what really happens in Vegas really stays in Vegas. Even the hookers are only doing phone sex now. The most dangerous thing in Vegas right now is a buffet without a sneeze guard. This virus is dangerous. A friend of mine put on his red bandana, went to Trader Joe's, and never made it out. The Crips shot him. Be careful out there, folks. All right, let's start the show.
Get ready for Jeff Ross. Do you have thick skin? Let's all come together.
Okay, great. Welcome to the podcast. It's great to talk to everybody. How you doing, Ed?
I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, it was a long week, but we're through it and we're trucking, man.
Keep on motherfucking trucking.
Absolutely. It feel weird for people who got birthdays and weddings and stuff like that right now, and it's everything's getting kind of pushed aside. But
if I was a little teenager and my prom or my graduation got canceled, I would be in despair. I would feel like what's happened to the world? Like you worked so hard for something, or these Olympians.
Yeah. Oh.
The Olympians who they cancel the Olympics.
Literally, people are going to be too old to do it next year and not make the team.
It is heartbreaking. This year. It is heartbreaking.
It's going to be. I talked to an 18-year-old this week who was supposed to graduate and go on a senior trip and all that stuff.
They're going to have to wait. They're going to have to make.
I didn't even sugarcoat it. I was like, "You got fucked." Like, and just know that for the rest of your life, you'll have that story.
Yeah.
You know, that's, you know, you were part of that crew.
Yeah.
My little cousin Noelle was supposed to get married this weekend.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I was officiating. We're going to do a Zoom wedding. It's going to be interesting.
Let me know if they do a Zoom honeymoon. I want to check that out.
But we do have some very important birthdays this week, buddy.
Oh,
if you
yeah?
wanna hear
Fire
about
away.
them. I mean, the first one, near and dear to our heart, May 8th, Mr. Don Rickles.
Oh, yeah. Wow. The greatest. Such a funny dude. Such a funny man.
I loved him, man. He really like taught me a lot about, I didn't know him personally, but just as far as like never stop talking. Like I kind of adapted that for Murder Fist. It's like they missed a joke. Fuck it. Catch up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like here comes another one.
He had a great rate of jokes per minute, JPMs.
Yeah.
He was no wasted space in the Don Rickles show, man. He was always so funny, man. I miss seeing that guy rolling around Hollywood. Mm-hmm. One of the best. I got to speak when he passed away at his temple in front of his family and friends. It was really moving. Don Rickles. All right, who else is having a birthday?
Billy Joel.
Oh, my God.
71.
No way.
Yeah, that's right. I was at his birthday party at MSG last year.
Really?
Yeah, I went, me and Julie and her family went. It was amazing.
I hope he's taking care of himself. I don't want him to have a heart attack. Last time I saw a picture of him, he was the size of a piano, man. Yeah.
Oh,
Celebrating life, but we also have to celebrate a very sad roast in peace. I really wanted to do this person. I don't know. I mean, he was a big star when I was a kid, but I was up north. Ed, you were down in Florida where the Miami Dolphins ruled the roost. They were a big part of your life, and I know that this one must have been painful to write today, so I really appreciate.
He's a god to us.
Yeah.
We're going to miss this big man. He's
Don
the best.
Shula, roast in peace. Here we go.
If I may.
Yes, please.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. They take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. They're in the air, they're on the ground, they're always in control.
Wow.
And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, 'cause they're the Miami Dolphins.
I think I know why they lose every year.
Miami Dolphins.
Arrgh!
Miami
Luna, quiet!
Dolphins #1.
Ed, you're upsetting the dog.
Yeehaw.
Oh, my gosh.
Miami Dolphins.
Oh, can you back up the mic a little bit?
Miami Dolphins.
What is
Miami Dolphins #1.
this? Is this what you sing when you're constipated?
Washing my hands.
Don Shula. No coach in NFL history won more games or had more players arrested than the great Don Shula. Don Shula really knew how to put a team together. The Miami Dolphins, like real dolphins, were mostly stolen from the wild. The great Don Shula was born in Ohio, but he was a winner, so he had to leave. Now that Don Shula is gone, there will be no reference to what a winning coach in Miami even looks like.
Amen.
If Don Shula were an animal, he'd be a Don Shula, because Don Shula was a goddamn animal. Don Shula was tougher than a steak at Shula's Steakhouse. Mr. Shula was a spokesman with Dan Marino for Nutrisystem, a weight loss program, just to prove that even when losing, he was still a winner. So let's pour out some steak sauce for the great Don Shula.
Roast in peace, buddy.
Roast in peace. Roast in peace, Don Shula.
Woo!
Feel better?
A little bit. It is oddly cathartic.
That's good.
Worst Star Wars day ever.
May the fifth be with you. May the fifth be with
May
you.
the fish be with you.
May the fifth be with me. Ask me about the dog.
Oh yeah, that's right. How's Nana? How's Nana Rona?
Our rescue dog, Nana Rona, is, I'm very happy to report, much stronger.
Yeah.
She's her arthritis is not bothering her as much. She's on drugs, and she can, kind of go on walks now. And
That's great.
she just looks better. She has a lot more energy. Maybe she's not as old as we thought she was.
She's huge.
She's about 100 pounds.
I had someone hit me up.
Yeah.
So if you want to do this, let's get rid of her. Someone actually messaged me, said, I'll take the dog. They live in Hollywood. If you want it, man, we can get rid of this dog next week.
No.
You're not going to do it.
She has my heart.
Oh, is that real? You're going to keep her?
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man.
No, I told my girlfriend we're keeping her.
Congratulations. You have 2 dogs.
I never thought I'd have any dogs. I was never a dog person. But this old rescue dog, man, at first she was just filthy. She was tied up in Hawthorne for 4 or 5 days before somebody reported it, and she got rescued, and nobody wanted her. She's basically blind, deaf, walks with a limp, smells, and we got her cleaned up and been to the vet a few times, and I think she's gonna be okay. I thought she was on her deathbed, honestly, but she's getting stronger, and she barks now at other dogs. She's kind of back in the game. Just if she runs into a dog when we're on a walk. But she's changed her food up. She's got some energy.
Nice.
And this is kind of a personal story, but this dog would always sleep at the top of the stairs. She missed us so much, but she's feeble. She can't come down the stairs.
Yeah.
So she would sleep at the top of the stairs.
That's so cute.
And even if her bed was somewhere else. So eventually we just put her bed at the top of the stairs because she likes to be able to know that she's right near us. So she's here a month, 5 weeks, going into the 6th week.
Has it been that long?
She's starting to get her health, her fight to her. And she wags her tail a little bit and this and that, and she follows my girlfriend Pau around everywhere. And I mean, we were making love. And finally, Nana Rona just couldn't take it anymore. And I hear something come tumbling down the stairs. And I just figured the wind blew something, and Luna runs out, our other dog, and goes to check on Nana Rona, and she comes running back alarmed, and we're kind of in the throes of passion. And I whatever happens, and in a magical moment of burst of orgasmic hilarity, Nana Rona is right in our face just as we're just when we're saying stuff like Jesus and God and God and Jesus. And there, for the first time in 5.5 weeks, Nana Rona has made it to the bottom floor of the house. So her tail's wagging. She can't believe it. In the meantime, Luna's rolling her eyes, pissed off. This is the one place she could hide from this homeless crackhead rescue dog. So shout out to Nana Rona, who is now part of the pack.
Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations, man. You deserve it.
Thank you. Thanks for asking about her.
Yeah. I can't believe it, man. I never thought you'd have a dog.
Yeah, well, even less likely, I never thought I'd have a friend who performs country music. Country music and dogs. I'm a changed man. No, actually, I have a lot of friends who love country music. I'm a big fan of all types of music. And beyond that, I'm a fan of people who write their own music. I always think that's just one of the coolest things you can do as an art form.
Yeah.
And I listened to some Brad Paisley this weekend.
Okay.
Strolling around on my headset, walking around with the dog up here in the hills of Hollywood. And I asked him if he'd be on the show. Actually, he's listened to the show, so he knows the show. If you don't know his music, you should. He writes love songs. He writes funny songs. He writes country songs that Jewish guys in New Jersey can get down to. 32 top 10 singles on the U.S. Billboard country charts.
Damn.
19 of which went to number one. I can't name 3 of them, but 11 million albums, 3 fucking Grammys. Jeez, I haven't won any Grammys. And I always love when I hear this. Very, the greatest achievement. You know, like for comedy, a roast would be the greatest achievement. For a singer, the Grand Ole Opry, getting asked to be part of the Grand Ole Opry. To me, that's the greatest, one of the great achievements you can get in your life. I love his comedy special. He did one on Netflix. Sarah Tiana was in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and most recently one for ABC called Brad Paisley Thinks He's Special with our pal David Wild. And the other day I was having a down kind of blue day, and I was in a pissy mood, and I took a hike, took a walk, and I cranked up his music, bunked up, and I don't know, something about it just made me feel better. And I needed some cheering up. I needed some a pep talk. And he even called into the Insta roast this week. So he's got a good sense of humor. He's a sweetheart of a guy. Mr. Brad Paisley, how are you?
I'm great, Jeff. It's great to talk to you. You one of the best kept secrets is what a nice guy you are.
Thank you. Wow. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for Brad
Thanks.
Paisley today. Just tried to ruin my entire Roastmaster reputation in the first 10 seconds.
Oh, you'll get it back.
You know, this podcast is kind of the inverse of the roast. If the roasting's about dishing it out, I like to do this show because it's about taking it, having thick skin. You know? And it said a lot about your integrity and your ability to laugh for yourself. That you came on my live Insta roast yesterday. I said his new song is "There's no I in beer, but there is an I in alcoholic." So, be careful.
Right. Well,
it was fun. You got me back a few times. It was fun, a lot of fun, man. And I've never seen you perform live. That's one thing I really want to do. Are you going crazy? Performing in your house every night? I know you've been crashing Zoom parties for your fans, which is such a fun thing to do. But how you holding up down there? Where are you right now? You're in your farm?
I'm in. We're kind of hunkered down on our farm, which is outside of Nashville, and it's ideal for this. I mean, it's like we've got a pond and a barn, and several structures, and I can take a walk from the house to the barn and back to the house, and it's way better than my in-laws that are in New York, and and they gave up. They're sheltering in California. They have an apartment in New York. Forget it.
Right.
It was too difficult with two young babies as well. So we're good. I mean, I feel guilty. I have a little bit of that survivor's guilt. Kind of,
because you're not in the middle of the darkness right now.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, I think that everybody's got to do what they got to do to get through this right now, and it's for me. I'm trying to make the most of it creatively. Like you say, I've been doing the Zoom parties. That's actually a silver lining. I mean, I've never would have even dreamed in a million years that I would be crashing people's birthday parties and engagements and things.
Have you run into anybody naked by accident yet?
Not yet. We keep trying.
So your fans will text you and then a Zoom password, and then you just show up. Do you let them know you're coming, or do you just show up?
I usually don't let them know. Usually it's that because I'm now that the cat's out of the bag, there's thousands of requests. When I say, all right, I'll be online on Saturday night. I'm gonna crash your happy hours. Just do as many as you can, and then send me the invite. I always look for something that's a good reason to go. Like is it a bunch of nurses that just got off work? Because that's cool. That's
Sure.
Or couldn't have our wedding. That's a good one.
Oh my gosh, man!
And there's a lot of that.
That's what we call a mitzvah. If somebody was supposed to get married and they couldn't get married, they have to do a Zoom wedding, and then a rock star shows up and sings at their wedding at Zoom. To me, that's you're performing the ultimate mitzvah, my friend. A country music mitzvah.
It's like it makes me feel a little bit better right now, and I know it makes them feel better, in that sense.
And there is an I in Manischewitz, by the way. In case
I
you
would
do a
have
bar
no
mitzvah.
idea whether there was or not. I know it's not spelled like you think.
That's so great, man. Are you being, this has been yes, we're lucky guys. I see you're on your farm. I see through the back window the lightning and that's happening outside.
Yeah, you can see the lightning right now.
Yeah.
Which, when it's like, we'll pick up after this here in a second when the power goes out.
Yeah. I feel like comedians, and I've been telling my funny friends this, we have an obligation to cheer people up. Like, everybody's in quarantine. People are depressed. People are in mourning. And
I think so.
And
I
people
think that's
are broke.
a great way to look at it.
And if you bring out a lighthearted song, or you can make a joke, like, that is doing something. You don't have to be a nurse on the front lines of this thing to make a healthy contribution.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's why I released the song that I have out, the No Iron Bier. It's funny, I wrote that in 2018, and it was just a drinking song. It was just a party song. It's
a lot of fun.
But it was like, that's all it was. And then all of a sudden, I realized when everybody started saying, you saw all these catchphrases, and I was having to record PSAs and things for the state of Tennessee and whatever. And it was like, we're all in this together. And I'm like, I have a song that says that. And what ends up happening is the song ends up meaning 10 times more than it meant 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it meant let's all get drunk on the lawn of this amphitheater and party on a Saturday night. Now it means we're all in this together. There is no Iron Bier. It's like we're all basically on Zoom on Saturday night because that's all we're allowed to do.
Right.
And let's get through this.
In the song, you shout out farmers, first responders, truck drivers, all people I don't want drinking beer, by the way.
My wife brought that up when she's like, what about you're wanting to buy the guy shifting gears in his truck a beer? I said, not right now. When he's done with his shift. And I've got news for you, Jeff. The news is all those people you don't want drinking beer drink the most.
It's probably true. It's probably true. What do you drink? Do you want to say what you drink? What's your drink? Do you have a favorite beer, a favorite style of alcohol?
I'll tell you, my favorite beer right now is I did a thing with A-Rod last week. He and J-Lo gave 2,000 meals to my charity in Nashville, which is a charity called The Store. We can talk about that later, but he sent me a case of a beer he's an owner in, I believe, or he's involved with, called Presidente. It's Dominican, where he's from, and it's fantastic.
Well, I'm definitely going to check that out then. Yeah, I love trying new stuff. And I'm hoping, even though, I'm not a nurse, I'm hoping that maybe sometime later in this show you'll play your new song for my fans, because they all need a little cheering up, a little drinking song, a little fun.
I'll do it as long as you can roast. We should do a verse at a time and you roast it.
No problem.
So here's what's wrong with that. Here's what's wrong with this verse. It'll be like playing it for my publisher.
Then in that case, maybe you'll let me play a song that I've been writing. I've been writing a love song, and I know I love your love songs. And I've been in quarantine with my girlfriend for 6 weeks now.
Right.
So can I try a few of my verses, and maybe you can give me some pointers, I was hoping?
Oh, good Lord. Sure.
All right.
It's like, this is like every conversation I have with every waiter in Nashville. Hey, let me just play you my song. Now I'm going to get, what's going to happen is, fast forward to 3 years down the road, I've got a #1 song, and I'm getting sued by you because you think it sounds the same.
Here's a song I think of whenever I think of country music.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, me too. I think of that as well. We're very proud of that moment in that movie.
Brad Paisley. So I've been dating this woman about, a year and a half. Never wrote her a song before. But everybody's kind of going through this quarantine together right now. So I figured it's time that I really, put it down on paper. Stuck inside with you, but you're stuck inside with me. If everybody's gotta stay home, it's you I wanna be. It's only 2 chords, I'm just telling you now.
I can tell.
I wanna rub your feet while you rub my head. Tell me about every book you've read. Today we baked some bread and we did some Pilates. And then you cleaned out my ears and I watched you go potty.
Oh, good Lord.
We started a compost and you taught me to twerk. What else we gonna do if we can't go to work? Stuck inside with you. You're stuck inside with me.
Man, I'm dying for a 4-chord.
What?
I'm dying for a chord change here. I'm dying.
All right, it's coming up. If everybody's gotta stay home, it's with you I wanna be. With you I wanna be. That's the first verse. What do you think so far?
So far, I'm in pain and agony.
All right, well, sometimes the best art comes from pain and agony, so I'm okay with that.
Sometimes the worst art comes from pain and agony.
Quarantine with you, which means you're quarantined with me. If everybody gotta stay home, with you I wanna be. With you I wanna be. We had some good talks and we righted some wrongs. We laughed, we cried, and we wrote this song. Wait, hold on. Is it good or bad when you shake your head?
Oh, it's like.
Are you shaking it because it's bad, or are you like Ray Charlesing it?
I'm Ray Charles. It's like the girls. It's the girls at a Beatles concert in the '60s that they're kind of swaying to the music. That.
All right. Today we cut our own hair and we learned how to juggle. Sometimes at night we Hulu and cuddle.
Oh my God.
Then we sleep till noon, lay in bed till 5. And just thank God we're still alive. We finished a puzzle, we had some sex. Now what the fuck do we do next? We painted the kitchen, I fixed my bike. I called my nana, hey, you alright? FaceTiming our families and Zooming with friends. Making big plans for when this thing ends. But in the meantime, I'm a lucky guy because I'm stuck inside with you, which means you're stuck inside with me. Everybody's gotta stay home. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be.
Is that the end?
I mean,
I'm clapping because it's over. We all are.
No, it's yeah. Let's Simon Cowell this shit. You ready?
You didn't say Paula Abdul this shit. You said Simon Cowell this shit, so I already know it's bad.
No, that's not true. Let's go. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Here we go. All right. First of all,
Okay.
structurally, I think you got some potential as a writer. you structured it great. I was dying for another chord. You just like the trick here for your songwriting is learn like one more chord. It's literally the expression is 3 chords and the truth. It's called they call country music 3 chords and the truth, not 2 chords and the truth.
So if it's G, C, then the third chord would have to be D, right?
Yeah.
By the way, I could have called anybody for this advice. I got an expert. Like this is like calling a doctor and going, "Hey, how do I brush my teeth?"
Yeah, and again, it's
People would kill for this opportunity to play him a song, and I'm like, I don't even know 3 chords.
it's yeah, chordally, that's where the song is challenged. The other thing I will say is, while a very nice love song and very heartfelt, I don't see us jamming to this in 2 years. At least I hope not. I think it's a very time specific, moment in time.
The quarantine
kind of song. Yeah.
Do you think it should be stuck inside with you, or does this sing better? Quarantine with you.
No, I don't. Well, either one of them. It could be either one. I'm struggling also to get the notes on the page. I'm not. They're kind of in between the lines, the lyric.
Oh.
The notes.
This might be my first time ever playing guitar while singing, while doing a podcast, all at the same time. So.
Well, I'm honored to be your first time in this, and it's just as bad as your first time probably was.
I actually think she's going to like it. I think I'm going to be able to prove you wrong.
I
Brad
think
Paisley.
she's going to like it. I do. I think you're probably right, because you know what I find, like, in the beginning, especially when you first start writing songs for someone, like, my wife in the beginning was like, "Oh my gosh, you wrote me a song," even though she was an actress and probably other people had written songs about her.
Right.
I present this song, it's the greatest thing ever, and it's like I play her that first song while we were dating, and it destroyed her. It ended up being a hit record. And
Which one was it?
It was Little Moments. It was the name of it.
Oh wow.
And
That's great.
and then, and honestly, I think that's how I stole her heart and why I married her. But now, like years later, I like play her something. She's like, "Pass."
So she cowls you.
Yeah, she's like, "Pass. What else you got? You can do better than that."
That's good. She keeps you up, makes you keep your game up.
I think though that in your case, being that this is the first thing you've written her, right?
Yes.
Oh, she's gonna. You're gonna get some.
It's gonna be. It'll be a good day in quarantine. Yeah, because we are definitely like, yeah, it's 6 weeks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's tricky.
Yeah.
And music calms the savage beast, as
Yes.
they say. So maybe it will be. I mean, we're doing good, but it is tricky after 6 weeks, and
Yeah. I bet.
but you have that big farm to walk around. So if you need to take a walk, you can clear your head. Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Are you getting stir crazy? Have you hit the wall like so many people in the
No,
quarantine?
I had a bad day last weekend a little bit. Just I think it was Friday, maybe it was Thursday. I don't know. One of those 2 days was the first day I was really kind of in a funk. I really was. I just felt bad. I just I think maybe it was the stupid headlines. I don't know which day it was. It was like the thing where for some reason the news felt compelled to tell us that if they don't get a vaccine, we're looking at like 2 more years of this.
Yeah.
You read that, and it's like, you don't have any hope. I don't have hope that I'm going to be playing concerts, that I'm going to be able to pay my band. Because it's like after a while, there's a limit to some of the things you can do. But hopefully, I don't. But then you read the article, and it's not necessarily as bad as there. That's like worst case scenario, and I don't believe in the worst case scenario right now. I think we're going to figure this out.
You're an optimistic person, and that's one of the reasons that people respond to your music. I mean, and I always try to be that way with my comedy. I feel like if you try to be up, like for instance, if I'm doing a show, a lot of times it's couples, and I've always been this way, and I think I got it as a kid because Buddy Hackett, the comics that I loved, were like this.
Yeah,
I was never going to be the comedian that goes up there and talks about divorce or STDs. I'm always going to be the comedian that talks about like sex and sexy stuff. I want to be a wingman for my audience.
Yeah, you are. You
Yeah.
have nailed that, and that's what Rickles was too. I mean, did David Wild ever tell you? Our buddy David Wild is a writer. He worked with Rickles once, and Rickles had this moment that was everything you'd ever want out of Rickles, which was like because David was working with Don on something, and David's wife came to pick him up because I guess David's a teenage boy or something.
Yeah.
At this point. But his wife comes to pick him up and walks in to get him, and Rickles looks and sees David's wife, and he goes, "He said you were a dog." Which was such a great way of complimenting her that she's not, and also throwing David under the bus. And
It's like a three-way joke. It's so
yeah,
good.
and that's what you do. I think you fill that niche that back then, and when you watch the Dean Martin roasts or any of those, of course there's horrible moments, but there's some brilliant stuff. There's just some,
Yeah.
and the part that's brilliant is that everybody loves it, including the people getting roasted, and you have that. You have got that, and there's a wink and a nod and a respect underneath that you give people, I think, in this day and age, that a lot of other comics don't do.
That's nice to hear, man. I mean, I work hard at that because if you roast people and you break the skin instead of just scratching it,
Yeah, right.
you're not going to see that person again. Well, then what are you doing with what am I doing with my life? If I'm walking around gunning people down.
Right.
But part of the reason I always love the roasts, and you mentioned the Dean Martin roast and stuff. The reason I love that kind of comedy when I was growing up was because it was to the person's face.
Yeah.
You're making fun of the person to their face, as opposed to after they leave or behind their back. We all have an inner roast master in us. It's just it takes a certain person that's willing to tell the person the joke to their face. And sometimes it can be a little scary. But if you really think about the comedy and think about the context and who you're talking to and about, they can be on it and not just laugh, but go home and tell their family the joke. They'll be proud of the joke.
Yeah.
They'll go, guess what? Because, the best jokes are backhanded compliments.
Right. That's a great way to put it. That's great advice, because I've always identified with that kind of humor because that's how somebody knows I like them. If I'm teasing you, you're good. If I'm not teasing you, like all my employees are like, "Hey, boss gave me a bunch of crap today. I guess I'm good." You know what I mean? If I'm like, "Hi, it's really nice to see you today, Kenny. I like that shirt." Kenny needs to go find another job.
I'll take it one step further. If you're at a roast and I don't mention you, then that's an insult.
Yeah, I would say that's
If I don't take the
right.
time, if I don't take the time to write the joke about you, I'm dismissing you.
Yeah.
That's the insult. That's how I see it.
Oh, yeah. That's like career's over kind of stuff.
Yeah. Or at least, it's a diss. It's a little bit of a diss.
Yeah.
So funny. Love talking about comedy with musicians. I never understand it, but it's just one of those phenomenons I've noticed my entire life growing up. I gravitated to the rock star, the comedians the Blues Brothers, Eddie Murphy in a leather suit. They always say comedians want to be rock stars and rock stars want to be comedians. It's this odd phenomenon. You fit the hybrid of something in between sometimes. I have a few friends like that. That's a rare breed that can laugh at themselves and have a sense of humor in their work. And it makes life a lot better. It's when people are so serious, man, it gets really tough. But you must go, as a writer, and I ask all my guests this, as a writer and as a family man and as a businessman and as a human being, we all have our moments of down in the dumps. And, is there something that you go to when you're having a rough day that kind of peps you up or brings you out of it?
Yeah, when I was lucky. The reason I started playing the guitar and got into music at all was my grandpa, who loved Johnny Cash and Buck Owens and all that. And he gave me my first guitar at 8. And he said, look, he's like, if you just take this guitar and allow it to be like your friend, it'll get you through anything. You know, any dark times, you can sit there and play that thing, and 20 minutes later you forget about what it was that was on your mind. And there's a bit of that. There's truth in that. I mean, rarely do you have something in life that's so dark that the guitar won't sort of take you away from it for a minute. There's a reason.
It's like an escape.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if did you ever meet B.B. King?
No, sir.
I did a duet with B.B. on an album, and I'll never forget, I don't think I've ever met, ironically, a happier human being than the man I met.
Really? Wow.
Maybe
cool.
it's that.
That's good to hear.
Maybe it's that, the guy, first of all, he was immensely successful. He sort of gave birth to, an entire, he was one of the birthers of that. And it's funny.
Of American blues.
Yeah, man. I mean, but at the same time, I think when you're a blues musician, same with Keb Mo, he's a good friend of mine, and these guys are like happy.
Right.
And I think
Right.
why they're happy is they take their blues and turn it into music, and then they're good. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like a blues musician typically, they're happier than a lot of country musicians. I know that.
I guess you have to be generally happy to go there. It's like you said, you outed me as a nice guy at the beginning of this conversation. If I wasn't a nice guy, I would never get away with insulting people for a living.
Yeah.
It's like, people go, it's a dream job. You get to say whatever you want about people. I'm like, yeah, well, it's like being a black belt. It comes with some responsibility.
Without a doubt. And you know your limits so well, and
I've learned the hard way, Brad. Believe me.
I'm
plenty
sure.
of parties I've been kicked out of, and after parties I was uninvited to. Believe
I'm
me.
sure. And you and I both know the list of celebrities that you don't touch,
Right.
because they don't have that thing. But I've always loved self-effacing qualities in anybody. Like, I can be friends with anybody who's willing to both take it and dish it out. I'm good with that. And I think because just life's too short. It just is so. It's just so, some of what we're joking about is so unimportant in the grand scheme. And I love that you bring everybody down to size. It's really inspiring to me that you. I'm glad you exist, is what I'm saying.
Same here, buddy. You're a good guy. Tell me about the store and this organization that you get behind. I was reading a little bit about it, but I don't know if I can do it justice.
Okay, so a couple of years ago, before all this even started, we started a program in Nashville, got a board of directors of really smart people together, as opposed to me, and explained to them this idea that was based on something in Santa Barbara that we let our kids volunteer at, which was called Unity Shop. But we wanted to create what that is here, which is essentially a grocery store for people who lose their jobs. People who fall on sudden hard times. And because one of the things that goes away when you lose your job or you have medical bills you can't pay or whatever is food. Food becomes like, ironically, it's the one thing you need, but you kind of put that on the back burner and you pay for your car, you pay for your house or whatever. So
lights and heat.
Yeah, and it's like so it's what this is essentially is a grocery store called The Store because it gives a person dignity to go in and have choice. They shop in this little corner grocery store looking thing. They walk in, they pick out what they want for their family, get their fruits, their vegetables, whatever, the bread. They go up, they do the checkout, but there's no money changing hands if they qualified for the service. And
Beautiful.
A kid gets dignity. The parent gets dignity. The parent gets to tell the kid, we're going to the store and go shopping. And the kid doesn't know the stress the parent's under at that moment. And anyway, we got all this together. We partnered with my alma mater, Belmont University, and we opened our doors in March just as everybody lost their jobs.
Wow.
And it's crazy. The timing, like immediately, we had about a week of operating like that. Like we planned with the dignity and people shopping and everything down to the little mechanical horse the kid can, put a quarter in and ride at the front of the store. Everything's about being a normal shopping experience. Well, that only lasted a week, and then all of a sudden we had to just hand food out at the door because of the CDC guidelines. And now we're just delivering to the elderly. In addition to that, you don't have to be poor. You can be 85, and we'll bring you food in the area. And we're serving 4 times. In the first month, we were serving 4 times what we planned, and we're growing by. It's funny, we're growing identically to what unemployment numbers are growing in Nashville as we go. But it's something I'm very passionate about. Because I've said this to our board of directors. It's like, look, we don't get the soft open we hoped for, which is like you open your doors and you do your best. We literally were thrown into the fire, and if we get this right, we will get to do this forever in Nashville for people. We get this wrong, it'll never work. But luckily, I think so far we're getting it right.
And the fact that you had it going just in time for the pandemic.
I mean,
my people call that beshert, Brad Paisley. Beshert.
But I can't spell that either.
And where this is in downtown Nashville?
Yeah.
Or somewhere?
It's 12. Yeah, it's in Nashville. It's near Belmont University, and it's a really inspiring thing. We literally cut the ribbon and opened our doors in March.
Good for you, man. How do I make a donation?
Go to the website, thestore.org, and we'll look for your $15. Thestore.org is our website.
That's great that you're doing that, Brad. That's really awesome, man. What a cool idea. No shame in being broke right now.
No shame at all. I mean, I have friends that 2 months ago were raking it in as musicians that are right now trying to figure out whether they're going to deliver food or whether they're going to work. I mean, they don't know where they're going to work because there's no sessions, there's no live performances, there's no touring, all that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Man, I miss being on the road, and I miss doing my shows, and I miss, having a couple of bats for dinner afterwards. The whole thing I'm just missing.
Right, I know.
I used to eat bat Parmesan after
I don't
every
think
show.
that, and I don't think that's coming back. I could be wrong, but that's one of the things we're probably not going to be able to do anymore.
The two, and that and the other thing that's gone forever is close-up magic. You're never going to see that again.
Yeah, here, put this coin behind your ear. No.
Get your dirty fucking fingers out of my ear. There's no quarter in there. Pick a card. Pick your own card.
Yeah, right. Is this your card? I'm sorry, you're 6 feet away. I can't tell.
Oh, man, you're a lot of fun. I don't know. What else you feel like talking about? Because I feel like you're a man of worldly knowledge.
I think you know what's fun for me is talking about and this is interesting with you is that every time let me get a guitar because we're going to talk about comedy songwriting.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Every time, let me make sure you can hear this all right. Every time that
sounds terrible.
That the what'd you say? Terrible?
It sounds terrible.
Yeah. See, that's right. What I needed was.
Take it down a notch, Eric Clapton.
What I needed was this 5 chord. See?
Oh, I see. That's the chord I'm missing.
Yeah, you needed 3 chords in the truth, not 2 chords in, drone myself to death.
It was a drone strike.
So I started doing a thing with the Nashville Comedy Festival, which I think you've played. You've been here when we have.
Oh yeah.
Every spring we had Nashville Comedy Festival. This year they had to cancel it, but.
No better town, by the way. The best audiences, Zanies.
Yeah.
The Bonnaroo. There's so much fun comedy in the state of Tennessee. All of the great crowds. Yeah,
absolutely. And Nashville's it's a hip place. I mean, people get it. Like it's such an enigma. It's such a different kind of place than you picture. Although I don't know what you picture, but a lot of people picture the hay bales and hee-haw and all that. And there's a bit of that, but it's really
You got to drive at least 20 miles to John Rich's farm for that.
You know,
But,
and the
downtown Nashville is super cool. The Johnny Cash Museum and all the, you just walk down the street. There's music coming out of every doorway. It's full of life. It's a town that I love performing in. Love.
Yeah. Well, every year I would host something with the Comedy Fest, and I always wrote songs for that. And sometimes they became like things that I would do in concert. Boy, that thunder outside right now. The things that I would do in concert that only work in concert. It's interesting. Like some of the funny songs don't work in a recorded music sense at all, but they kill every night. And what I've found is if I record them, it ruins them.
Huh.
It ruins the joke. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're taking the spontaneity, the spark, the improv out of it.
Yeah, there's a difference between funny, like my song "I'm Gonna Miss Her," which I would consider comedy to some degree, which is the one about fishing, which is it's
a great song.
I'm gonna miss her. That works over and over again. People cheer, leave her for the fish.
Right.
But when you write something that's overtly just for the comedy night, I find they don't work if I let everybody hear them all the time. So I just kind of use a tour to use that material for a year. And
it's good that you're prolific enough to know, not need everything you write for everything. It's good to leave some stuff for the live show and make the live show something different than your albums.
Yeah, and sometimes there are things that you can tell like they wouldn't find any sort of commercial place anywhere. Like we wrote one for the comedy thing the other day, which was so I'm putting away the dishes. She says, "No, dear, plates here, forks there. When I put on my favorite old sweatshirt, she says, you shouldn't wear that, dear." So dear is the same as dumbass. Suddenly it's all so clear. No, dear, don't do that. Oh, dear, you blew that. Why are you wearing that, dear? I'm finally learning her language as I ask her to pass me a beer. If dear is the same as dumbass, well, hey, you married me, dear. Things like that, that works live, but you wouldn't put that on an album.
Well, plus when you do it live, you can stop and vamp and do a joke and make fun of the whatever.
Yeah.
In the moment stuff that you can't do on an album.
Yeah, and it's like, look at that dumbass in the front row. And you point to him and,
Now you're doing my act.
Yeah, exactly. I'm about to
Have you been writing in quarantine?
I have. I've been writing really pretty well during this time. It's been interesting because I find that I'm able to Zoom write really well. Like
Interesting.
I've done that with a couple of people. The other day, this was a really amazing Zoom write that would have taken too much planning to actually work in person. And myself, John Fogerty, and Darius Rucker wrote together on Zoom the other day.
What?
That's crazy.
Because we're all good. Well, Darius and I are really good friends, and John and I are really good friends. And I've written with John before, and I just said, "Do you want to do something while we're stuck?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Hey, I saw you on TV with Darius the other day." He said, "You think he'd want to write?" And I said, "I think to write with John Fogerty, he would definitely write with you."
Whew.
So the next thing you know, all three of us are looking at each other on Zoom, and this is something you can't do. Like if you're buying plane tickets and everything else, just forget it. It's like it'd be a nightmare. But we actually wrote really well that way.
Huh. It takes some of the pressure off.
Yeah, and also when you Zoom,
because you didn't make the commitment of like, yeah, well, let me tell my family I got to go to this place for a few days, and then we got to set up a studio. You're just home.
Yeah, as
and
well
if
as
it's good, it's great, and if it's not, you forget it.
You're looking at each other on the screen, and you're like, you're focused too. Like you're you're able to, and there's a lot less pressure. There's so much pressure when somebody came into town for a couple of days to write. Like, you don't want them to go back to where they came from and be like, well, that was a waste.
Right.
You know.
I love Fogerty. I've seen Fogerty perform at least 5 times. Once at a music festival, once at the Hollywood Bowl, maybe twice. Yeah, man, he's amazing.
You know what's
He's one of the
interesting
great
about-
American songwriters.
You know what's interesting about him is that when you think about, like, there's so many cover bands that nail somebody's sound. Have you ever heard, like, walked in a club and there's somebody that's like, oh, man, they sound just like Fogerty? I've never heard a single human being sound like him.
No, he's got a very special voice. And you know what I love? He has integrity, too. Like, he cares about people, and he writes about things that are important to him. He's not trying to write a hit. And, you know, he just does because the song's great.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's
That's cool.
One time when he came to Nashville, we took over Tootsie's, the bar on Broadway, and did a jam session there, like a unannounced, showed up, played type thing. People walking by on the street were like hearing, you know, out there, and they're going, damn, that dude's legit. Sounds just like Fogerty.
It'd be funny if somebody tried to sign you guys, not even getting it.
Yeah, right. we love
That's so
the
fun.
whole senior citizen younger guy act. Let's do it.
I know you recorded with Dolly Parton. Did you ever write with Dolly?
No, I never wrote with her. We recorded a song. She sang harmony on it. But
Beautiful
no.
song.
What's that?
It's a beautiful song. I listened to it yesterday.
Yeah, that's a meaningful one, and she's something. I mean, she's one of those voices. It's like her and Willie Nelson and a couple of these folks that it's like, oh, there they are. It's like adding salt or pepper to a recipe. It's like, oh, there's the pepper.
Yeah,
It's just that plain as day. It's such a rarity that people sound like that, sort of unique.
Somebody told me she wrote 2 of her biggest hits on the same day. Do you ever get in a zone where, you know, you don't write for a long time and then suddenly, you know, 2 smash hits come pouring out of you in a day or a weekend? Does that ever happen?
I don't know. I don't think so. Dolly, though, 2 big things come out of Dolly all the time.
I did, and I know this is probably the hackiest joke ever, but one time I was backstage at the Hollywood Bowl. My buddy Kai Arns did a poster for Dolly's tour, and he does her videos and stuff, and he'd photographed her a bunch. So, you know, we're kind of like positioned in a certain spot so we could say hi to her as she's basically walking towards the stage. And she does a little like, hello, hi, honey. And I go, welcome to California. You know, tonight we're at the Dollywood Bowl. And she lit up like she'd never heard that before and said, oh, that's good. I like that. That's good. Then she walked out, and then 2 minutes later she said, welcome to the Dollywood Bowl.
There you go.
So I'll go to my grave thinking I put that in her head, but she's probably heard it 5,000 times.
You should put it on your resume. I wrote for Dolly Parton.
Right. In India, she called it the Bollywood Bowl. I don't even know. Oh, man, this is so fun. Brad Paisley, I've been listening to this song over and over, and it seriously cheers me up. But that doesn't mean I'm going to pretend to like it just because you sing it. Is there any way? Will you play your new song for us?
Yeah. I don't know how good it'll sound like this, so you go stream the real thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brad Paisley.
Yeah,
doing
so
There's No I in Bier.
I'll pause in the middle if you have any comments that you'd like to critique.
This is Thick Skin with Jeff Ross.
Wherever you are tonight, whatever you're going through,
Woo!
grab a long neck bottle or a big old pint and let's all have a few. Cause
Hell yeah.
we're all in this together. And there's all, what's the next line? We're all in this together. To me, it's all so clear. Drinking ought to be a team effort. There is no I in beer. I'm waiting on the gong. So you got a buddy who's heartbroke. No, see if you can get him on the phone. Tell him life ain't fair, we all been there, but no one should drink alone. Cause we're all in this together. It's why God put us here. Drinking ought to be a team effort. There is no I in beer, and there ain't no you or I in beer, that's right. But there's about to be a lot of beer in you and
I just want to break a story here, folks. This just came in. No I in Beer has just been voted the #1 song to fuck your sister to. You!
This was going to be our season. We were the team to beat. All but not anymore. We're looking at the score in shock and disbelief. But we're all in this together, and there's always next year. I'm liking all this team effort. There is no I in beer. Yeah, we're all in this together. It's why God put us here. Go ahead and check your Websters. There ain't no I in beer.
Wow. This is the greatest song about beer since the last time you sang a song.
To the farmers and the first responders, to the truck drivers shifting gears, every nurse that needs a break, let me buy you a drink. There ain't no I in beer. No, there ain't no I in beer. That's the part where we promote drinking on the job.
No beer for the doctors? No beer for the doctor? You left out everyone but the doctors.
Sorry. Next verse. You're right. I need to add another verse. What else did I leave out?
Doctors.
That we should be.
Oh, man. Oh, that's great, man. That was really perfect. Really, really, really perfect.
And it's perfect? Really? That's the best you got. It's perfect. Come on. Give me some critique. Make me feel better.
I just think it's brave when an artist doesn't tune his guitar before he performs. Brad Paisley, No I in Beer, man. That's fun, man. That's the kind of song people need right now. Just a silly, fun, drinking them up song. People are definitely consuming during the quarantine.
Yeah, according to Bud Light, it's like 60% more or something right now.
Is that right?
Woo! But I get it. I mean, people need they're basically like, well, I guess we can't go out. Let's call the boys and see if they can Zoom. And the next thing you know, like in these Zoom rooms I'm jumping on, they've all got something. They're all just sitting there like this, staring at each other like that and having a good time. I mean, and that's what they should be doing.
I love it, man. Thank you for sharing your music and your wisdom with us today, my friend, on Thick Skin. You're a good man, Mr. Paisley.
You're a good man, Jeff, no matter what anybody says.
We're going to shout out all the proper plugs for you. And don't forget to follow Mr. Brad Paisley. He's a great follow on Instagram. I really been enjoying your Zoom meetups when you show clips and some duets with some of your buddies and just some general comedy with the wife and a lot of fun stuff on there, too.
Well, I likewise. And it's been fun to watch you just roast random people. You weren't really doing that prior to this, right? That's new.
No, that was a new thing. I do it on stage in my live show. I'll bring up volunteers and line them up one by one.
Yeah.
And speed roast people. But this is my first time where it's like performing to an arena because you got the whole world.
I know.
And I had people from many different countries. Some that aren't even comedy friendly, like Iran,
really?
was on the Insta roast this week, and pretty intense, pretty cool.
It's amazing that you cost someone their life with your comedy.
We're all in this together, like you sang, my friend.
Well, they were.
Any words of wisdom? Any final thoughts, sir?
When will this be out for people to avoid?
Gonna be out before you can write another atrocious beer drinking song.
So right away.
Lots of love, man. Congrats on your on the store. That is such a cool thing that you told us about. Very, very
Thanks
cool.
for
Man. What a
highlighting it.
mensch. What a mensch. Mr. Brad Paisley.
I also got a
everybody.
great screen grab that I'll put up. If it's not a secret, right? I can say I did this.
Oh yeah, man, I love it.
I got a screen
It'll come
grab
out.
of you picking your nose in the middle of this. You'll see. It's going to be on my Instagram here in just a minute. Had a great time on the podcast. Next time, Jeff, remember, on FaceTime when you pick your nose, people can see it.
You know what? I was just trying to give you a little entertainment to match the song. You know, I wanted you to relate to your fans.
I missed though when you ate it. I missed that. I didn't get the second thing.
I just wipe it under the table for later.
Oh, that's fantastic. Great. Good.
We did this classy interview. We did this fun show, and now I'm talking about picking my nose.
That's all right.
Well, take care. Go play your song for your lady friend.
I'm gonna add a third chord and come back to you with that. Tell you how it went.
And if she doesn't want it, George Takei might take it. You can do that.
Thank you. Lots of love.
Thanks, buddy. A lot
Brad
of fun talking
Paisley.
to you.
Good man. Good man.
Bye, guys.
Wow. Well, folks, if you thought that was a big get, Brad motherfucking Paisley, Ed comes through with the guest of the year.
Woo! Been dialing up people. I've been making calls all around this country, and I got him. Mr. Joseph Canfor, dude.
Camphor?
Yeah, I learned his name.
This guy's got to be a billionaire by now.
He's going crazy. He's on fire. No one, I mean, like,
So he's, yeah.
I mean, you don't want to, like, it's weird for people who are successful during times of turmoil.
Yeah.
You know,
Like almost like a war profiteer.
yeah.
So this guy owns Purell.
He owns Purell.
I got to talk to this guy.
All right. Isn't it Joseph Canfor? Be respectful. He's a
Okay.
gentleman. So he'll appreciate that.
Are you there, Mr. Camphor?
Yeah.
Congratulations, man. You have Purell, man. I mean, you guys are running the world right now. Thank you.
I got the juice. I got that germ killing, germ assassinating juice.
Woo!
I am just raking it in, buddy.
Well, as a comedian, I want to thank you because I shake a lot of hands after my shows, and I have to say I have been a loyal fan of Purell for my whole career.
That is so nice, Jeffrey, but flattery will not get you Purell any faster. There is a long list of people that are going to be getting it before you, my friend. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that.
Damn. How's it going over there at the Purell factory? How's morale?
I tell you what I do is everybody comes in first thing. People kind of get scared, right? Because people making the juice are not necessarily making the same pile of money that I'm making, right? So, but I understand. They're scared. So we're testing everybody. We're slathering them in creams and gels. As soon as they arrive, getting them super clean. One of them gets sick, they get fired. So they have a prerogative to not be sick.
Are there special hygiene rules for Purell workers?
Oh, yeah, we make sure. My thing is, I get everybody say, you fill up these Purell bottles, right? Spill some on yourself. Because you can't get sick in here, man. I think we beat AIDS. Within this factory, I think that, honestly, no one's getting cancer in my shit. No one's getting anything, man. Alzheimer's is dead, dude.
Mr. Camphor, how much has demand increased exactly? Do you have the numbers?
Let me put it this way. Last year, I put a pool in my backyard, and next year, I'm taking my pool on vacation with me to Monaco.
About your pool.
Yeah, demand has increased. You should have seen Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks said he wanted, he wrote this in a letter to me. He said, I want 4 Rita Wilson's worth of Purell sent to my home. And I sent him, surprisingly, only 300 pounds. She is very thin bones. Lucky man.
How much longer do you think this shortage is going to go on?
Jeffrey, if I had a nickel for every time someone asked me this question, all right, I would tell you I'd have a shit ton of my own personal disinfected nickels.
Really? Huh, prepared.
I
you didn't
wash
really-
all my money.
You didn't exactly answer my question, but that's fine.
What's with this pressure, okay? I thought this was softball, all right? Just take it easy on old Camper, all right? How about it? You want me to stop making it?
No, please, sir. We need Purell. I'm
You
sorry.
sure?
It's just people are worried they're going to get sick, and everyone's
Hey,
very
man,
stressed
we're all
right
catching
now.
up until the president starts telling people to drink it.
I heard about
Right, if
that.
he tells people to start drinking it, we're gonna have a problem. But I have a backup plan. I got some raspberry flavored kind.
Wow. Well,
for
so
the
it
kids.
smells like raspberry, but what would happen if someone injected it or actually injected it into them?
Well, Dennis Rodman seems to be fine. I say if you're gonna drink Purell, to be honest, it's best to be sitting on a toilet. Cause this shit moves, buddy.
Good advice. Any big weekend plans for you now that you're becoming a celebrity in the healthcare world, Mr. Camphor?
Nothing much. Just gonna splish splash over my Purell pool. I don't want any of the help get any. Smoke
What?
some Cubans, and maybe I'll do some strip checkers with the wife and kids.
Fantastic.
They are all clean. Everybody's got it. I know a lot of people going broke during this time period.
Right.
Big thing is you got to figure out where to put your mind, where to fill in the gap the society needs, and that's where the cash will be. Which is why my next big move
Yeah.
is disinfected guns. Right? Guns, yeah, super tiny guns that can shoot viruses. Because people love to kill, right? People love to kill.
Right.
No school shootings where people getting their stuff out, right?
Right.
People need to kill,
Kill a virus.
but kill the virus. That's my plan. So my word out there is find your swerve and fit that swerve. Make that cash money.
Stand your ground against that virus. Any closing thoughts, Mr. Camphor?
Yeah, Johnson & Johnson can suck my fucking Johnson. I'm rich, bitch.
Thank you,
Fuck
Mr.
you, Band-Aids. You know what the thing about Band-Aids, man, is you can still see the blood. Shows everybody you're weak. They wanted to actually do something for you. They hide that blood.
Wow, I had no idea about all that. That's some inside business information there, Mr. Camphor. Thank you.
I'll rag on these Band-Aid cucks all night long. I don't give a fuck. All right, I'm killing diseases. They're just covering up holes.
What's your next invention going to be, Mr. Camphor? Now that you've conquered hand sanitizer, what's next?
X-ray glasses so nerds can see through girls' shirts.
Oh, that would make a lot of money. Boy, you
Make
think
a lot
you're
of
rich?
money, right?
You think you're rich now? Huh?
Nah, I've been telling these scientists. I've been telling all these Chinese scientists, and they're scared right now, man, because they didn't expect that virus to go as viral as it did.
What's inside Purell? Have you ever released the secret formula?
I have no clue what's in it.
Really? But yet you seem to be saving lives. You're a hero. You're a hero, Mr. Camphor. Thank you.
Nobody's died that I've met yet.
Amen. Huh? Well, I hope that's true. I hope that stays true. Continues to be true. How are you feeling? Are you and the family? I hope doing good. Good health.
Wife's clean. Kids are clean. Teaching the kids school here at home. I told them all about Napoleon this morning, and then I sent them to recess for 6 hours.
Why Napoleon?
Because I felt like it. Because I thought it was a fun-ass dude that they needed to know about, right? No one tells me what to do, really. I don't have any sort of curriculum. They haven't been in school this whole time, our entire lives. They've never been to a real school, like a brick and mortar school.
Sure. Well, my best to your family. You sound like a good guy. You sound like a lot of fun. Congrats.
There's a lot of people who say the opposite, but I cut those people off.
Is it true that
Thank you so much.
Is it true that you've been spiking the price for Purell?
No. I would never do something like that. But I will say it has gotten more expensive, hasn't it?
So somebody's and the middlemen are boosting the price, you're saying.
That's outside of my purview, man. That's outside of my purview. I handle the juice and juice management alone.
Now you heard the president say if you bleach or something or sunlight, or you could inject it. I mean, you don't recommend people drinking Purell, right?
I'd say if you got enough of it to drink it, you should be selling it. That's my main thing. Think about your bottom line. Because you can drink the Drano. That's fine. Just do it. Cut it with water. That's my main tip. I would cut it with some water like coffee concentrate. It's a coronavirus.
Well, a lot of good information there. I appreciate you taking time for us today. That's Joseph Camphor, the inventor and CEO of Purell. Thank you, good sir.
Couldn't be happier. I'll send you a Tesla.
Great get, Ed. Thank you for that.
No problem, buddy. No problem. I can always grab that guy.
Shout out to last podcast on the left, Henry Zebrowski, for playing Joseph Camphor on our podcast today.
That's right. Dr. Fantasy on Instagram. Henry from Murder Fist, my boy, my ex-college roommate.
Henry Zebrowski. Doesn't he have a book out?
That's right. He's on the New York Times bestseller list right now with Last Book on the Left. And they also just put out their special this week. So you can go to lastpodcastlive.com and watch Last Podcast on the Left live in New Orleans.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's only $6.66.
666, huh? All right, you murder fisters. Just won't let it go, right?
Absolutely.
There is no devil. Haven't you figured that out?
If he is, you got to be on his side.
The devil went down to Georgia to protest the opening of a barbershop. Shout out to Brad Paisley, who was awesome on the podcast today. Check out his new hit song, No I in Bier, available everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, you got it. Check out thestore.org. That's a food giving situation that he's gotten behind down in his home state of Tennessee.
Yeah. 2005 12th Street in Nashville, if you want to go down and check it out.
Thestore.org.
Love at the core. Feeding people in Nashville who need a little extra help.
Very cool. Follow Brad Paisley on Instagram.
It's his name. It's easy to find.
All right.
It was a fun one today, buddy.
Check me out on cameo.com. I'll make you a cameo.
Yeah, make you a cameo, make anyone a cameo.
Cameos are getting so popular during quarantine because people, they can't go out and buy presents for people, so they send people, personalized messages from celebrities. And I'm learning how to do it from Gilbert Gottfried, who is the master at it.
He really is. I can just watch his cameos all day long.
All right.
Go to roastmastergeneral.com for all things Jeff Ross. You pick up your emotional support human shirt there. Also, I'm offended by people who are always offended. Baseball tees and mugs. Jeff, you got a bunch of rescheduled Bumping Mike dates. They're on the website.
I don't want to hear it.
They're on the website, so people can go check them out
positive.
there. They are. That is positive.
All right.
That's very positive.
I talked to Attell. He doesn't want to announce any dates right now. I don't blame him.
Fair enough. Well, buy your Bumping Mike's vinyl on Amazon. Check out Jeff on Cameo. Instagram Live Roast. Well, Jeff will announce when he's going to be doing Instagram Live Roasts on the weekend. They've been crushing it. Thousands of people are tuning in. Joey Fatone came by for a little bit.
Oh, my God. He was great.
Oh, and then
I said he was my 5th favorite member of NSYNC. Great.
Rate and review us on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Email us at thickskinwithjeffross@gmail.com. We're ThickSkinCast on Twitter, Thickskin with Jeff Ross on Instagram, Real Jeffrey Ross on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Eddie Tunes _ on Twitter, Eddie Tunes normal Instagram, and check out my other podcast, The Brighter Side, with Amber Nelson and Mr. Eddie Ewing on the Last Podcast Network.
All right. Well, thank you, Ed, both of you. Great show. A lot of fun. Folks, this is Thick Skin signing off. Life is hard, but don't worry. We're getting through it together.